of the water. This is also a little radioactive water, a healing water of Austria, and you see that the structure itself, the beauty, is reflected in the form. The beauty, let's come back to the Peace Festival. Why do we have this lecture here? So my attitude, no matter what my belief is my conditioning we had before, is reflected in the water. So if I take your body liquid, no matter which liquid, I tested all liquids except of brain water yet. So the structure itself is reflected. So if you feel very good, centered, the water dries from outside nice to the center and gets a nice structure. If you are eccentric, the water drop many times dries to not a corner but to a side, because you don't have a corner in a circle. And the structure you can see here is different. Of course, if I now start to make a diagnosis based on this, then I'm into mythology, or in Turkey where they read the coffee cup and predict your future. But I just want to very simple compare, and you see, for example, if you went to a therapist, a spa, a treatment, a doctor, whoever, who really had a positive impact to you, your body liquids changes. And I work with different spas, and I always tell them why you don't put a microscope into your spa. The people pay several thousand euro or whatever for a treatment, and then they have to believe that whatever, but why not see the results from yourself? Just a simple microscope and see how you change. Different people, and you see the impact of a good treatment. No matter what treatment, no matter if they make Feng Shui, Reiki, play table tennis or whatever, just what has positive effect on you changes you. So you can do it with blood serum or with saliva, with anything. I always thought, strange, this holy water, healing water, there is something in this topic. And if there is a healing water, then there must be the most healing or holy water must be the amniotic liquid, there where the baby grows. So I started to test this water. This is a woman who gives birth in a bathtub just right before the birth. And it was beautiful that she reflects herself in the normal tap water. But of course I want to make some research, and then I tested the ultrasound. Many women, when they're pregnant, they go to ultrasound. And ultrasound is of course a wonderful technology which saves many lives, and I would never say ultrasound is just bad, but let's make a research about it. Maybe we can improve the ultrasound. I started my PhD in Russia, which I put a little bit on ice at the moment because I'm so busy traveling and making other work. But I tried to adapt the ultrasound to the woman. The thing is that in internet you find many pictures where the baby makes like this. They don't like the sound. But the doctor says, don't worry, don't care, whatever, be quiet, and makes it work. But many women, they have the feeling that this vibration is strange. And now it's like this. I would not say that the ultrasound is bad, but maybe it doesn't fit, because sound, as we said before, music, has an impact to the water. And ultrasound is very scientific, you can put it very accurate. And some sounds which you hear, you can say, oh, they're beautiful. Or some sounds you make, oh, I don't want to hear this. Yes? So you react on it, you don't have to believe it. And the ultrasound is also a sound that's just above the hearing range, above 20,000 hertz. So which works in the in the audible range, probably is also in the other range. So maybe you can apply it also in the range which we cannot hear, and adjust the ultrasound in the interval of the fifths that the woman and the baby says, wow, this is great. So really this I like. But this is a research which maybe takes much more time, but I did quite some research. The funny thing is, we always are afraid from vibration outside. And the interesting thing is, the smaller a vibration, the bigger the impact. From a sound, from the radio, we're not afraid of this, from the longitudinal waves. From the microwave, we're more afraid in the kitchen, we don't stand too close. If you go to Fukushima, you get more afraid of the radioactivity. So the smaller the vibration, the bigger is the impact. Yes? Now the funny thing is, what is the smallest vibration I thought by myself? The smallest vibration, or maybe I'm completely wrong, is the thought, my attitude. So the funny thing is, when I compared this with the amniotic liquid I got, the women who were completely afraid during the pregnancy, and I applied the ultrasound, the whole structure changed. But when a woman was completely strong and said, I don't care, you can't harm me at all, I could not, with the ultrasound, change her body liquid. So it was for me very interesting to see that the mind has actually much stronger impact. This is a lady who was pretty afraid, and pretty much changed the ultrasound. So I would say the most important thing is the attitude of the couple, the mother, of the family, and this reflects in the water. This is amniotic liquid diluted 1 to 50,000, because amniotic liquid itself you cannot freeze that easily because it's full of organic matter and minerals, of course. The next part is a little bit more the scientific part, but this is quite some fun. Why does the structure change? Now it's like this, that the water molecule nobody has ever seen. Yes. But we know that the water molecule makes in 1 second up to several billion connections. Yes? Which means the water molecule H2O is not completely saturated. And in nature, everything always wants to go to equilibrium. If this room is full of water and the other one is empty, nature wants immediately make an equilibrium. That's always how nature works. So the same is also with charge. If you have plus and minus, the nature always wants to go to a balance. So the H2O molecule is not completely in balance, it's out of balance. It needs a little more charge, so it makes another connection between a hydrogen and an oxygen. But this connection is very, very weak, which means it makes per second, it always changes, up to 7 billion movements. So if you have here a glass of water, you can not believe how this water is trembling inside. It's just movement itself. Actually, I would say water is more movement than matter. Movement is vibration. And all life always derives in water. There is no animal, no leaf, no human being who cannot, how to say, appear in our earth, on our earth, if there is not water included. So the water molecule makes amazing many connections. Now the problem is that I cannot see this little water molecule. But now it's like this, that what we can find in microcosmos many times also is valid in the macrocosmos. So let's make another experiment. And this is, maybe you have heard about this Chladnic work from Jenny and from Lauterwasser. You take a plate of sand and you put a vibration from below, and from above there's a camera. And you see here there's sand, and if I look on the one little sand corner, I can say it makes no sense. Where's the information there? But the vibration itself makes a form. So InFormation means nothing else than vibration getting into form. If you have the letter A, 3 bars, if they're just lying around, you wouldn't read the letter A. But if the form gets into form, or the bars get into form, you can read it. So we can see that vibration makes form. When you change the vibration, immediately the entire form is changing. Back to the water, to imagine just that you get a little bit of picture of water. Water is so small, if this water molecule, a little water molecule, which is super tiny, starts to grow, just imagine a little fantasy, starts to grow to the size of a sand corn, yes, 1 millimeter. Then 1 liter of water would cover the entire earth with sand. Just that you imagine how much water molecules are in the water bottle. Here, that's another experiment. This is super slow motion. The lamp flashes in reality 100 times a second. And you see a plate which is shaking, it's vibrating, trembling. And the water immediately drops, makes form. So the water always has the ability to immediately get into form. And the beauty is, water always works according to the laws of harmonics. Harmonics is what we have in music. Everybody, no matter if it's a baby in the womb, or if it's a high educated musician, he could hear, oh, this sounds terrible, oh wow, this is nice. And it has nothing to do with your belief, no matter if you believe in, I don't know. You would react on this. So, there is, for example, in the study about the Mozart effect, maybe you've heard about this. Pregnant women, when they hear Mozart, the baby becomes active and happy, so the baby reacts on it. And the baby doesn't say, oh, I like Mozart. The baby is full of water, is surrounded by water. The water reacts on it, and we react on it. So we always react on water, on sound, and actually it's the water which reacts on it. This is another experiment. You have just a water container from above. This is from Alexander Lauterwasser, a wonderful researcher in Germany. He has a container full with water. From below there is the sound. Maybe you see it there on the right side, 30 Hertz, 0.1336 or something's changing. And the funny thing is, even if you change the smallest digital in the 10,000 or what the machine is able to detect, the whole structure changes. Yes, you see here, it's not so good to see, but when the number changes, the frequency changes, the whole information changes. Now the problem is this, that in science, we always want to be objective. So what I say, and you go in the laboratory, you have to get the same result. The problem is not like this. This objectivity does not exist, because you are not me and I'm not you, so your influence will be different than mine. So if I apply 31 point whatever hertz in my lab and you do it, we won't get the same result. And if I do it by myself today and I do it tomorrow again, I also don't get the same result, because also the whole surrounding is changing. So vibration, and as I said before, the smaller the vibration, actually the bigger is the impact on the form, is always changing. So there is not, you can also say for the humans, if father and mother get a baby, they never get the same child. It's the same DNA which comes together. But the vibration itself is always changing. And we know that the vibration, it comes a little later to this again, changes the properties of water, and the properties of water has a big influence on cell division. How does the baby look later?